So my foot's stuck in there, right? I'm freaking out, the dog's having a seizure, and I've still got half a pie left. Hey girl, hey, I don't know about you, but when I think of story time, I think of Drake and Josh. I have a story for you about a crazy taxi ride in Myanmar. If you've never watched my videos before or seen my face, hello, I'm Kristee, nice to meet you. I make YouTube videos and vlog, and I just got back from studying abroad, so I went to 11 different countries, including Myanmar/Burma. Myanmar and Burma are the same country. Burma was the name under British colonialism, so most of the people, I think America still formally calls it Burma, but everyone there calls it Myanmar. So to them, they are in Myanmar. A little bit of background really quick is I was on semester at sea, which is a study abroad program on a ship that goes to a lot of different countries. So we were stopped in Myanmar. I had been traveling with my roommate Kaylee and our friend Morgan, and it was the three of us, and we had taken a flight. We went to Bagan. Now I have a vlog channel where I vlogged all of my travels on this trip, so you can see my vlog from Myanmar and me talking about how stressed we were about this delayed flight and everything leading up to this story. But this story I left out of the vlog. It was the last day that we were in Myanmar on the ship, and we were in Bagan, and the ship was in Yangon. So we had to fly back to Yangon and drive to the ship before on ship time. Now, in semester at sea terms, on ship time is the absolute minute you have to be back on the ship unless you want to get dock time, and no one wants dock time. Every 15 minutes you're late to get to the ship. You have to stay on the ship for 2 hours in the next port while everyone else is getting off and going on adventures. You have to sit on the ship and wait. So there, that sets up the like urgency of this entire story. Our flight was kind of later in the day. It was scheduled for about 5 p.m. It would land at like a little before 7. I think it would land at like 6:35, 6:40. The drive was about like 40 minutes or an hour back to the port, so then we'd get there at least by 8. We check in and they're like, yeah, your plane's been delayed about an hour. We're like, okay, that's fine. 1 hour later, that'll put us at the boat around 9.
1 hour later.
And they're like, yeah, it's looking like another 30 minutes. And we were just sitting there like, okay. And we ended up taking off around 7:15. So then the plane was scheduled to land at 9. We were like, okay, let's do it. We can do it. We can race to the taxi line. We can push everyone out of the way. A crazy taxi was like the least of our worries. We were just stressed about making it back to the ship on time. So immediately we ran into a little bit of a language barrier with the driver of our taxi. A lot of people in Myanmar speak a decent amount of English, but there are times where you will find it a little harder to communicate with people. So none of us spoke Burmese, obviously, because we're ignorant. We were like, take us to the port, like Philawa port. We're showing him pictures of maps and everything, and he seems a little confused. I don't even think he realized. He was just like, okay. It's this look on his face and nods, and we're just like, I think it was like 9:05 or 9:10. We like pointed at the clock and we're like, 10 p.m. We need to be there. And he's just like, so he starts driving. We're like, okay, whatever. If we make it, we make it. If we don't, we don't. It's whatever. And then we start driving, and all of us are just like talking. We're distracted. We're not really paying attention. None of us had cell service or Wi-Fi or anything. We were completely disconnected, so we had no ability to look up like on our phone how to GPS and how to get to the port, or how to even look where the heck we were in this car. I noticed partway through the drive that he's like quietly murmuring into a cell phone in Burmese, and I was like, okay, like why is he talking so quietly? Like maybe because, I don't know, maybe he was trying to be respectful to us or something, I don't know. But it was just like the way he was talking was really weird. And it was just like this weird, creepy, dark street, and I was like, what the hell is happening? So this guy's murmuring into the cell phone, everyone's like talking and laughing in the back seat, and meanwhile I'm sitting in the front like, okay, that's not weird, like they're allowed to talk on the cell phone, who cares if he murmurs, whatever. But then here's the weird part. Our driver pulls over to the side of the road in the middle, and like to this shack in the middle of this dark street. It was not well lit, it was not a lot of people around, but our driver got out of the car and opened the trunk, and we were like, what are you doing? Our driver, who had been driving us to the port, climbs into our trunk with all of us in the car. He's in the trunk with all of our stuff, and he's literally laying in the trunk, and he closes the trunk on himself. And we were just like, what? Like this literally happened to be in Myanmar, where he didn't speak English, and suddenly our taxi driver is climbing in our trunk and closing the door. Suddenly some other guy gets in the car in the driver's seat next to me and closes the door and starts driving. What? Our driver had gotten in the trunk of our taxi, and some random man started driving us. Who runs this taxi company? that was okay. So many things were running through my head. I was like, okay, are they like robbing us? Are they taking our stuff? Are they like going to, I honestly had no idea. I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm being kidnapped right now. Why are there two Burmese men, one of them in our trunk and one of them driving to an unknown destination? Like, sure, that's weird enough when you're in New York City, and if this ever happened, I don't think this has happened in New York City, but if your taxi driver randomly pulled over and got in your trunk and then some other guy started driving, at least in that situation, you would have a phone and you could call someone. You could like look up where you were, you could drop a pin and send it to your parents or something, but we were in the middle of Burma. So I'm pretty sure I asked him, I was like, are you going to the port? Because that's where we were trying to go. He like looks over at me and like grumbles something and then locks the doors. And I was like, oh no. And all of a sudden, this strange random man starts driving like a crazy person. He's cutting people off and taking abrupt turns and like driving so scary. It freaked me out because I was like, why is he driving so crazily? Like, is he taking us to a weird warehouse that he needs to like make it to before we can call someone or something like that? As we were zooming down the streets of Yangon, Myanmar, and like we're almost running over freaking like carts that are wheeling down the side of the road and people and probably all of my brain cells, I'm just thinking, Jesus, take the wheel instead of this Burmese man. It was probably like 9:50 at this point. There was no sign of the port. It was just dark, not well lit streets, potholes everywhere. We were flying all over because this guy was driving like a crazy person. I'm surprised he didn't pop a tire. And meanwhile, our original driver is sitting in the trunk with all of our stuff, silent. In the distance, I see the lights of the top of our ship and I'm thinking, praise the Lord. He drives right on past it. Like, he drives right past the boat and we were just like, no! He wants us to think he's going to the boat, but his path to the warehouse where we're going to be kidnapped conveniently goes past our boat so we can shed one last tear of salvation that will never happen. We are all like panicking. We're like, no, no, go back, turn around. And the guy just like stoically looks ahead, like not even phased. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, our silent driver from the trunk yells something in Burmese to him. He stops the car, screeches to a halt in the middle of the street, turns around, and bless his soul, drives us back to the gate where the boat is. It was like 9:53 or something like that. And we were panicking because you had to go through security at this gate, like sign in, and then wait for a shuttle. There was no one else waiting. We were pretty sure everyone had already made it onto the ship except us. We're just like bouncing up and down like, where is the shuttle? Where's the shuttle? And at 9:56, the 3 minutes waiting in agony, the shuttle finally slowly shows up. We all jump on it. We're like, go, go, go. We sprint up the gangway to check our IDs and we had to turn in our passports to reception desk by 10 p.m. if we didn't want to get dock time. And so we sprinted, we ran, we didn't think we were gonna make it, but at 9:58, I handed in my passport. And I have never felt so accomplished in my entire life. That is the story of how I narrowly escaped death by taxi driver. Our taxi driver in Myanmar who didn't understand us, who jumped in the trunk and drove off with a random man like a mad person, and somehow we made it to the ship. So thank you so much for watching my first story time video, which I had so much fun doing this. I have so many crazy stories that even from the vlogs I didn't tell you guys from my trips and my travels abroad. Thumbs up if you like this and you want more story times. Comment what you would have done in that situation, because I was contemplating like jumping out at a stop sign, but then my stuff and my friends were in the back of the car. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all so much. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you are not already, and you can see more videos about my study abroad experience and all my videos to come. Watch my vlogs to see that entire process in Myanmar of getting to the flight and see us go through the agony of being delayed and then see our relief. I filmed us when we got back to the ship, like right as soon as it was 10 p.m. But now you know. So now you've connected the dots between that vlog. Okay, I love you all so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace out. I don't know why I did that. I'm sorry. Way too much emotion, I don't even know what's going on. Just if I could keep on